Welcome to Ilagan Whiteboard Friday, where we look at complex legal and compliance issues in a simple-to-do ways. This series is brought to you by Ilagan, your partner and provider of end-to-end business services.
Hello and welcome to Ilagan Whiteboard Friday, where we look at various tax and compliance related issues in a user-friendly fashion. Today we will look at the payroll processing in India, what all it takes to run a payroll, to maintain a payroll, to set up the initial payroll, all these related activities. Payroll is an important aspect and it's a very sensitive process within the organization. All your employees work towards a good payroll system. They expect the company to follow the best of policies and the salary should be credited on time. At the same time, it is also important for the founders or the owners, business owners, to know what all it takes to run a payroll. So, in the payroll process, one is the after you have initially set up the whole payroll, which would include generally all the details of the employees, the date of joining, salary structuring, and related information. You continue to run payroll month on month on a regular basis. So on a regular basis, these are some of the activities. So leave management, what are leaves employees have taken, how much they were eligible for, what are the leave policies of the company. So is there any leave without pay, or are there any extra leaves, whether the LWPs has to be carried out, any overtimes, any compensatory offs. All this thing comes under leave management. So an accurate and a proper leave management system helps to reduce the ambiguities between employees and the employer. Everybody knows what it is and they can actually transparently see what they have done and what it is available in the company database. Tax declaration and calculations. So as you know that deducting proper taxes is the responsibility of the employer. So typically what happens whenever at the beginning of a financial year or whenever a new employee joins, the government has introduced provisions where they can give a declaration to the company as to what kind of tax savings an employee would do. For example, savings under section 80C up to 1 lakh, any other, say, education loan, medical insurance policies, all those things, how much HRA they are paying, how much house rents they would produce, any other bills. So that's part of the tax declaration. Based on whatever declaration employee submits, the calculation for each and every employee varies accordingly. So based on the tax declaration, all tax calculations are done. Again, if there is an error, if you are deducting less taxes, then you are at stake, and if you are deducting more taxes, the employee will not be happy. So a proper system to manage all the tax declaration and then do the proper tax calculation is very crucial. Then month on month you have to keep paying those taxes and even file various returns. This could include things like professional tax return, TDS, Provident Fund, ESI, shops and establishment, depending on their rules and practices. So filing of all returns on a regular basis, either on a monthly, quarterly or any other frequency that is needed, you have to follow that. Then during the normal course of business, there are a lot of changes that continues to happen in a payroll. For example, the salaries could be revised after a performance appraisal. There could be added bonus that is paid out. There could be added, you may have sales commission going out to sales employees. So there could be a lot of changes, like at times we have even seen that a lot of our payroll customers come back and say we want to do a complete change of salary structure and related reimbursements. So there could be a lot of changes, and this is more or less on a regular basis. A few months you may have few employees raising their salaries, next month some other employees. So again you have to take into account those change of salaries or bonus or the impact of all these things onto taxes and how proper tax deduction has to be made. So those management is also a part of payroll process. Salary advances and loans, so depending on company policy and Many times a lot of companies generally support their employees for temporary cash crunch, so you can give an interest-free loan for a long-term purpose, say a year to 2 year, 3 year kind of thing. Or there could be a small advance which employee has taken to meet their temporary cash shortages and stuff. So those things has to be again properly captured. You have to again see what are the tax computation, what are the repayment schedule, when those advances or loans get set off, and what are the related taxation for that. So those things are covered under salary advances and loans. Then employee bills and reimbursement. So if you look at any wonderful salary structures, you will have a lot of reimbursements, for example medical bills, telephone bills, conveyance. There could be books related to books and professional development. So there could be multiple heads under which an employee falls, and for which again, whether an employee reimbursement, you can make reimbursement just like that without any bills, but then your auditor or you would be liable to pay taxes on that behalf because the tax computations are not correct. So these are actually reimbursements. This is not just a flat salary, although you define a limits for every employee month on month. When you say reimbursements, that means the employee has to actually spend that amount, and they have to produce suitable bills. For example, medical bills. So 15,000 is what you get as tax free. But if you don't submit bills, so for example, say you submitted bills only for 5,000 rupees of medical bills, then 10,000 goes in as a taxable component. So likewise, any other heads like petrol, medical, telephone, all those things. So all employees' bills has to be collected, verified how much was their limit, how much they have claimed, whether they, so like for a very good example is a medical. You cannot keep spending 1,000 rupees or 1,250 every month on month. So on the month of April or May itself, you might have incurred on a heavy medical expense of say 10,000 rupees. So what does happen? So you don't have to produce bills for the next 8-10 months, and I cannot as a company cannot give you say all 10,000 based on the bill, because if you have submitted in April and if you leave the company in May, then I have already made you an excess payment. So there has to be a proper system where you collect all the employee bills and manage reimbursements. You have to look at the limits, you have to do proper tax calculation, and any additional amount that you are paying to the employees, more than whatever they have already produced bills, goes in as a taxable thing. So again you have to calculate the taxes and then make payments accordingly. Then payslips. Payslip is a statement which captures the various details of a particular month's pay. How much was the gross, how much they are actually getting paid, how many days leaves, all those, even reimbursements can be captured in a payslip. So this is what generally every employer gives to the employees month on month. There is a tax computation statement which gives you the complete based on the current salary levels. How does your tax computation looks like? What are the heads? So that if employee or employer wants, they can, if there is any opportunity, you can do changes onto declarations and then again recompute those tax statements. And then there is something called Form 16, which is generally issued at the end of the financial year. So Form 16 is a statement which captures all kind of salary or payments that the employer has made to an employee, and how the tax savings has been done, and how the tax calculation has been done, how the tax has been deducted. All these details are captured in a Form 16. And then the management would also need various kinds of payroll reports to run. Like how many employees were there, what kind of salaries you have been incurring month on month, what other, how the fluctuations has been, is there been any leave. So there can be numerous payroll reports. For example, leave without pay reports, the performance appraisal reports, there could be bonus reports, number of employees. So various reports that is needed for the top management to analyze how they are faring, how things are moving, and if there is any major decision or impact that would need in the payroll system or processes. So these are some of the things that is needed to maintain a decent payroll process. Any non-compliance can again lead to penalties and interests kind of thing. It could also lead to a lot of employee dissatisfaction, and I'm sure none of you would actually be interested for payroll system being a major reason of dissatisfaction among employees, or to lose on any valuable resource just for want of a good payroll system. At the same time, these are more or less like requires a lot of tax, other labor laws and other knowledge, so it's good to have a professional team or somebody to have a good system to be followed, so that these things can be taken carefully and you can continue to focus on your own core activities. eLagan also offers a great system of payroll processing, so if needed we would be happy to talk to you about that. That's it on payroll. Feel free to drop us an email at support@elagan.com, or you can also check out our knowledge base at elagan.com/kb. Thank you.